Here it is. What do you think? This one, yes? All right, see you. Need a mage? Come to view the requests? Right. Would you take this one? It's in your hands now. Hello there. Come to view the requests? This one, yes? What do you think? I can make the arrangements at once. Please be careful. Hello there. Right. This one, yes? Good luck out there.
Excuse me. I like how this works.
We're surrounded. Try to hold out until reinforcements get here. Take this! That's one way down, but looks like there's still more of them. Looks like we've got guests. Gotta give them a big welcome.
I thought he was hitting him there. Look, he's on the wrong one there. What? This was the other one.
Sparks will fly! Into the frame! Time to save the day! Only veteran snipers could execute such a stratagem. Thanks! Let's go! Eat my magic! Take that! I'm beat. Can we take 5? Looks like we've got guests. Go give them a big welcome. They just keep coming. But we'll show them who's boss. Looks like they're coming for us. You ready? In for it now. Let's roll. Too late. Heads up. Thought you had looking good so far. You've got this. Watch it. Almost there. Take that. Looks like we've got guests. Go give them a big welcome. They just keep coming, but we'll show them who's boss. There's still enemies left, but you can take them. Nabby alert! It's go time! Ready for pain? Lightning! All together! I'm ready! We're in the home stretch now! Keep it up! That's what you get for messing with the best.
Ah, back. Too slow.
Everything worked out in the end. Mine together.
What's all my news reports? By having an inconsequential like one life with the body.
Yeah, Buffy. Yeah, Buffy. That's cool.
Shops are like currently now.
complete.
What else? Nobody I know has actually read Section 6.1 of the Consumer Protection from Unfair Trading Regulations
What game is
2008.
that?
Go ahead.
Looking for that special loaf? Look no further. I've got all sorts of
Oh,
items.
well. I don't know.
Welcome, folks.
One.
It's like,
That's more like it.
Hey,
You find something shiny, you bring it to me first. Got it?
very much. I know. Thank you.
Leave it to the captain. Need something?
So, starting now.
I trusted only my fists. If you wish to reach transcendence, you must beat out the path with your own knuckles.
That's true.
Which is why when my fists began to tremble in anticipation, I listened.
Oh,
It was as
listen.
if they whispered, a terrible future awaits these skies. Fail to act, an unprecedented calamity will befall you. How could they know? In truth, they knew more than most scholars, having experienced the rigors of fundamental aesthetic practice. I tempered them relentlessly, so they could foretell which timeline would lead them to the most strength. But you may ask, how far can one go with omnipotent fists?
Nipping
A
fist.
foolish question.
Ah, wrong one.
Only cowards measure progress in distance, in achievement. Blood boils through these fingers. That is all I need to know. Ah, I feel the fire raging inside. The
3
storm
months.
has arrived. And I shall
Really?
catch it with my bare hands.
Yes. You see.
Divinity above, I wish you no ill will, but your defeat shall be evidence of my life's work. Vow recited, I ended the evening's meditation. Decades of such ascetic training had finally borne fruit. I had honed the eternal raid style to a godlike edge. But the long years had also revealed to me an enemy I could never defeat. Time itself. My inevitable demise meant there would be no more eternal raid style. I would need a disciple. Someone worthy of inheriting my technique. Of course, coal is not transformed into diamond so
That was
easily.
ages ago.
It would be a fool's errand to find a successor who could survive the necessary time and rigor. Thus, when I finally met the captain, I was happy to be that fool. Now I could pass on my legacy. But the captain had another goal in mind, to reach Estalucia and reunite with dear old Papa. Filial piety was a respectable tenet, but it was no god-shattering fist. Despite my pleas, I failed to convince the captain to become my pupil. However, something must have resonated with the young master. because I received an invitation to join the Grand Cypher's crew. If I could not produce a scion of eternal rage, at least I would gain new allies. Walking aboard the airship, my fists buzzed. Ah! So there would be something more to this meeting after all.
Go off, Red. I don't
But
care about Red.
I choose to fight by your side for the glory of the crew. For the glory of reaching Estalucia. And after we return, we shall discuss your future with the Eternal Rage style in earnest.
Crowd defeat quests. Nice one.
You heard all the stories about the old man, right?
I could hardly believe my ears. Ripping the Grim Basin apart with a single punch? Joining a war just so he could spar? And defeating both sides? Knocking over a whole mountain just from turning in his sleep? I call BS. And just like crap, there was probably a kernel of truth in there somewhere, but come on, who believes this stuff? Turns out, idiots like me. See, I've actually witnessed Gondagoza smash a meteor into space dust. You think people will catch on to that story, too?
Of course they will. Why else do people go to the pub? Man's favorite pastime is recounting tales of people braver than themselves.
But it's so hard to believe, and I saw him do the damn thing. So, yep, though the old master's legends were numerous, and honestly downright ridiculous, they were also the truth. What's crazier, Gonda would never toot his own horn. After crushing a dragon with a sneeze or what have you, he'd just say, "Ah." Yep, actions speak louder than words. That's a real man's man for you. You gotta admire that. What I would give for his rippling biceps, though. Looking back now, none of us could have known. There, in the Zeka Grande Skydom, Gondagoza was about to use those rippling biceps to start a whole brand new mythos.
New legend is born.
Sierra gave us the news.
Wow.
lone brawler managed to stop a force of hundreds atop Mount Nagelith, all while quelling a raging blizzard with his bare hands? I'm not a betting man. Well, I'm not a drinking man. But, well, I'm not a man who bets when he drinks. But I put good money on our brawler being Gondagoza. It hadn't been that long since we sailed to Zega Grande, so the old badger must have been working overtime for word to spread so quick. I asked Sierra to spill the details. The force he scattered was a group of soldiers, remnants of the Church of Avia, and word was they were specialists in guerrilla warfare. Sure as hell they were a fierce troop. How does an unarmed martial artist take them all out? Not that I could ask the master, because you know what he'd say. But hey, who needs words
You know
when
he'll
you got those
say.
defined shoulder blades doing the talking? Guess it was just one more legend for the books.
Very funny. Oh, Slot's nice and fight now.
Well then, so long.
Ah. Where is he? Oh, there he is there. 65. Ah.
Good day.
Ah, everything is locked, so can't use him. Mouse Watts M word, we can do this.
Call for reinforcements! We need all the support we can get!
Why is everyone from that crew a beast? What are they feeding them on that ship?
It was a nightmare. Actually, worse. You could wake up from a nightmare.
These
This was our
steroids.
reality. We were being driven into the heart of Mount Nagelith by a single Skyfarer. Even though he was alone, he was with the crew who defeated
I wish I
General
could, but I
Alonso.
can't see them, so it
Our
doesn't
only
matter.
chance was to put aside our pride and work together to take him down. Our platoon was experienced, and we could launch the prototype Tayuatar if things started looking rough. We had numbers and strategy on our side. For all of our preparations, victory should have been assured. But he took one look at our perfect formations and laughed.
Ha 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 ha! You honor me with this extra training. I, Gandagosa, shall now return the favor with eternal rage!
You what? This guy was nuts. All of these soldiers, and this was just a field exercise to him?
Get your asses in gear! Do not break ranks!
Command snapped my mind back into focus. I drew my sword, but as I clutched its hilt, it had never been more sure it was just a hunk of scrap metal.
Poison man. Impressive.
Of eternal rage.
Keep your distance! Or you won't make it out of here alive.
Roger! Yeah! How will you train from so far away? Ha! Ooh! Huh! Nah! Good! Ah! Amateur! Ha!
of a weapon. Is this a joke to him? Who is this guy?
Could be the devil himself for all I care. Back up. We can't take him on our own.
Step forward. I still need to finish my warm-up. My fists grow restless.
Curse our luck. He's leaving me with no option.
Too weak when we build up so fast. We'll let you do that.
Switch to plan C.
Plan C? But sir, he doesn't even have armor on!
Just do it. Either we deploy our secret weapon, or he'll wipe us out.
The soul burns with fury.
Deliver us from this accursed giant.
Implode your desire to continue fighting, but you insult me with these useless toys.
It's over. He took out the Tayuta.
He dead?
Of course he did.
Oh, he is.
I want all units deployed. Courage, troops. No one lives forever.
With these fists, nothing is impossible. Understood. The river boils. I shall join. Next wave hooray!
Take that, motherfuckers.
Victory is mine!
He's a monster. Commander, your orders. Commander?
Who's next?
Behold! True ferocity!
Good job, Sport Edward.
It was a nightmare. Actually worse. You could wake up from a nightmare. This was our reality.
Where are they? Bring me your champions!
We were an entire platoon of pilgrims. We even deployed the Tayuitar. He wasn't even inconvenienced.
Retreat! Retreat!
He nearly killed me. I'd use
My
a
mind was clouded.
potion.
I barely heard the commander's order. How could I think? I saw it. I saw the force of his punches redirect the blizzard. He had to be a demon. No mortal could beat the damn weather into submission. Not to mention the lack of corpses. This battle had been brutal, but so far no one had sustained critical injuries. Which means he had been holding back. A man like this, he was as strong as General Galanza. No, stronger maybe. Finally, I gathered enough sense to unfreeze my feet and turn tail. As I ran away, I got the sense I'd just witnessed history in the making.
I'm speaking him up.
Well.
How's the way to go faster? What are you doing?
Superb! Training purges our mortal limits. Name a greater weapon than these two fists! Training purges our mortal limits. Well, well. Ooh! Superb! The raid shall guide me. Yes! Ooh! Superb!
I only have that 4, I have that 12. Oh, it's a new creature, yeah.
Good day.
Good day, you too. Hallelujah.
I will fondly remember my splendid time atop Mount Nagelith. Deadly blizzard pummeling my flesh, freezing cold stabbing my lungs, and swarms of monsters looking to turn me into a long overdue meal. These were already the perfect conditions for training, but sweet, generous fortune had even more in store. I crested a snowy knoll. What should I see but the obvious crusaders setting up camp for their own war games? Follow the fist, for it shall lead to serendipity. Unfortunately, however, it seemed my newfound sparring partners were on a stricter schedule than I, as they took their leave before I could properly thank them.
Nandagoza, a letter came for you.
Now this was a rare occurrence.
How did you?
It looks like it's from... Whoa, no way.
Her mouth was agape. I peered down to read why. From Kalanza. The Silver Wolf Corps General. This would be intriguing.
Corpse, not corpse. I am, yeah.
To Master Gondagoza, distinguished practitioner of the Eternal
Before
Rage
him at
Style.
the end, won't it? It's hard,
Thank you
yeah.
for meeting my strongest force on the field of battle. They spoke highly of your ferocity. In fact, some suggest you may be stronger than me, which is why I demand a duel.
Oh, I told ya.
If you are not a coward, meet me in front of Tradam's sanctuary, atop Mount Nagelith. ASAP! I expect a death match, as the skies have never seen before! Signed, the invincible and unparalleled general of the Silver Wolf Corps, Kalanza.
You can't go alone. He's way too strong.
Vern's right. Who knows what could happen during a fight with that man?
What loving kids to spare their thoughts for me. But Galanza was a man of unparalleled battle acumen. I could not pass on such an opportunity. Call myself the greatest fighter in all the skies. I must best the greatest fighters in all the skies. Captain looked at me with trusting eyes, as if to say, "Go, noble warrior. This crew believes in the might of your god-shattering fists." Seeing the tacit acceptance of their commanding officer, Lyria and Vern finally relented, but they insisted on joining, in case the worst befell me. Their support was my tailwind. We left for the battlefield.
Oh, that's what him. Difficult.
I shall fight the fight of rage.
Have a good day.
I think there's slots we can open.
Well, well. Yes. Superb.
If I have, I'll go get on.
Welcome. Which weapon shall I strengthen? Leave it to me. That went well. Let me show you what my master has taught me. It's perfect. Leave it to me. Not bad, is it? Come again.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, I thought I was fighting with my own. Darn. Difficulties.
Good. You're right on time.
Gandagoza and Galanza stood opposite one another. The air was tense, one spark from exploding.
Gandagoza of the Eternal Rage style, at your service.
Gandagoza spread his legs shoulder-width apart and raised his fist. He was ready for...
In his corner, the Silver Wolf himself, Galanza! And in this corner, a man whose sheer rage is matched only by his weird beard.
Weird bird.
You nearly gave me a heart attack. Where did you come from?
Yeah, Ref. What are you doing here? You could get hurt.
I've been following the legend of a master martial artist for years. And today, all of us will finally see his fist reach for the title of strongest. Don't blink or you'll miss it. A new legend is about to be born!
Sounds like somebody could use a reality check.
Suddenly, things had gone from tense to weird and tense.
Now, once again, Sky folk of all ages, prepare yourselves for...
Hey, don't step on our gig. There's already too many characters in this scene. Don't do the commentating around here.
Vern, no! We're not licensed to broadcast.
Oh my god.
But never mind about our qualifications. Something more important was on the line.
I want a clean fight. Now, believe in victory. Engage!
25th, 20 game.
We walk the path of eternal rage.
Well, the match of the century has just begun.
And we lock on
Who do you
again.
think has the upper hand here, Lyria?
I'm no expert, but I want Gondagoza to win.
There you have it. Our sky-faring heroine has spoken. Her words are sure to bring strength to her crewmate.
Bias on the mic? You know better than that, Raph.
I'd say we're off to a good start. Gondagoza's fists are as steadfast as they are quick.
Yes, sir. Megapod has one of the strictest training regimens I've ever seen.
Ah shit. I hate these stupid moves. Not fair, we don't really have moves and stuff.
Where he storms the arena with death.
Gondagoza is no stranger to bad weather. He should be able to dodge it off.
Yeah, Megapod has been known to clear a wall with just his punch. So this should be a test.
In my sights.
From the clouds, breaks the storm!
I would expect nothing less of a living legend.
Your flattery is appreciated. Now come at me with everything you got!
Don't mind if I
The river boils! Our hot Skybreaker!
Have you ever seen such a furious son of a attack? The end is nigh!
Go, go, go! No one who's fought.
Roaring death back again!
Oh, going there again.
Mighty attack!
watch closely now.
From the clouds breaks the storm.
I believe we won.
Gondagoza put his whole heart in that one. Has he done it?
Gondagoza?
I can't look!
Reject impossibility.
Gondagoza and Kalanza were going all out. They were like warring primals, blasting each other with crazy techniques. Finally, when the dust had settled...
The last man standing is Gondagoza! Let's hear it for those furious fists of legend, ladies and gents!
Megapops pulled off the victory, though Kalanza was no slouch either. Simply put, the stronger man took the match. Boy, I wish I were ripped like Gonda. If I had his muscles, I bet I could have stopped that whole Avia mess in 2 seconds flat. Oops, where was I? Right, Megapops had done it again. He'd proven himself in the ring and taken out one of the Skydom's best fighters. Score one more for the Eternal Rage legacy. I couldn't wait to get back and tell Rackham and Eugen the good news. They were basically Gondastorians by now.
Gondastorians.
This would be one more legend for their repertoire.
Gondastorians. That's cute.
Hello.
Did Vern tell you what old Gonda's been up to lately?
Fighting off 100 soldiers? Okay, sure. He's got chops. Pushing back a blizzard? I'll buy it. He's got elemental attunement out the wazoo. But taking out Galanza in a death match? Sounds like we're all losing our marbles now.
And what's this about their fight being so ferocious it carved out a new valley through Mount Nazulith? Has anyone verified that? And turning the island upside down? Come on, people.
Gonda, folks are starting to take your stories a little too far. That, or you're doing way too much. And I really hope it's the former. What am I saying? You ever stop your crazy exploits? I'll eat my helmsman's license. Yep, that stoic silence explained it all. For some, an unbelievable legacy might be too heavy to bear, but I doubt there's anything those broad shoulders couldn't lift. All of his stories have proven true so far. Maybe, just maybe, he really would sock it to a god one day.
I get to read it first, Eugen. I bought the damn thing.
Over my dead body. I was just getting to the good part. Yeah! Take that! Mist of the Red Lotus.
My fellow crewmates stood around a wall scroll, fascinated. Rackham procured it from Seed Hollow, I gathered. But wait, had Eugen not just vocalized and then improperly executed one of my techniques? Bizarre! While Eugen and Rackham were distracted by their noble bickering, Lyria brought the scroll over. When she flicked it open, my breath caught. Is that me? Is that supposed to be me? My likeness, stylized and somehow prettier, was punching back a blizzard in an illogical way. Don't these petty painters know that one must channel the ferocity of the storm to beat the storm?
Someone asked an artist to paint your story. Look how great it turned out.
I had to admit, they did a decent job of capturing the majesty of my mane, even if it were a bit too bushy. I could not help but laugh. All the places my fists had taken me, this was the first where I had encountered my own facsimile. Though I hadn't bothered to tell anyone of my training on Mount Nazulith, perhaps I should be more vocal in the future. If not only to add more fan art to my widening legends, what joy that would spread! Ha 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 ha!
Oh, who's this fighting?
I'm from Tremont Island, a quiet little place where I lived with my parents and sister. Things were good, except my sister was suffering from a terrible condition. We couldn't treat her on Tremont, so she was forced to travel to another island, all on her own. Back then, skyfaring wasn't nearly the safe bet that it is today, so I wasn't sure if she'd even make it there, let alone receive treatment. I loved my sister more than anything, so waving bye to her as she took off toward an unknown future was the hardest thing I'd ever done. I hoped beyond all hope. I hoped till it hurt, that her cure would be swift, and she'd sail back to me with each setting sun. But the days, they grew into months. Sometime after she left, a brutal pandemic spread across Tremont, crippling our population in a matter of days. I was shocked, watching the good people I'd known all my life pass away. But I was horrified when it claimed my parents. And when it came for me, I knew death was waiting at the front door. What can I do? I thought, lungs heavy and weighing me to my bed. What could I do but turn to the skies and pray? Please, if you're listening, I want to hear my family. I want to hear their voices again. My pleas were answered, but not by salvation. No, it was Celeste, the primal beast of death, who descended from the heavens. She stole death from the suffering islanders, preventing them from slipping into the afterlife. They became zombies, sentient and rotting. Unlike the others, my corporeal form faded away, leaving my spirit to haunt the land. This, at least, gave me a faint hope. If I was given an unlife, then perhaps my mother and father would be given the same gift. But the months, they grew into years. And it became clear that though Celeste held dominion over death, life was a more complicated matter. It was my wish that had brought unlife to Tremont. I was to blame for turning my hometown into a living cemetery. If the villagers knew what I had done, well, that's why I chose to haunt the manor on the outskirts of town. Alone in those halls, with no one to talk to, I counted the days until I lost track of time. Solitude was better than guilt. Isolation was better than hearing my name used as a curse. But with time, the silence ate away at my name, until even I forgot who I was. It's true that there weren't people around the manor, but I did discover a few ghost animals floating about. They took a liking to me, probably because of our shared ghosthood, and I gave them cute names to show my affection. Beppo, Gigi, Fuji, and Nicola. Before I knew it, my lonesome days became a little less gray, if not less repetitive. I watched so many tomorrows and yesterdays pass me by. I felt as stale and constant as the mists that covered the island. That all changed when the crew came to my manor. They were a cheerful, lively group, but also straightforward and intimidating. It had been so long since I needed to interact with other people. I knew that if I made contact, I would have to acknowledge the real depth of my loneliness. So I ran, and they gave chase. So I ran again, and they followed once more. No matter where I fled, they found me, undeterred by my spectral form or my ghostly pets. Finally, I decided to ask them about their situation. Thanks to the mists, they explained, their airship was grounded on Tremont. Like me, like the other islanders. We were all prisoners of Celeste. So long as she still had a pact with the island, there would be no refuge from her fog. But, by the same token, her powers preserved the unlives of Tremont's people, myself included. If Celeste was brought down, we would fade with her. It troubled me, but I knew it was a necessary course of action. I had only one thing to accomplish before confronting the primal beast of death. I needed to come clean to the islanders. It was time to make amends. Had it not been for the arrival of the captain and the crew, I would never have found the strength to make that decision. I marched straight to the village, took a deep breath, and explained to the people how I doomed everyone. But to my surprise, they looked upon me with sympathy and warmth. With the understanding and support of the islanders, I called Celeste once again. But she didn't appear, and the mist still covered the island. That's how I learned the truth. It wasn't only me who had crossed Celeste's fate with our own. The other culprit was the doctor who was traveling through our village, back when the pandemic first appeared. He was secretly conducting research to summon Celeste. We hurried to the place where he resided, but when we arrived, we found that his consciousness had already been swallowed by the primal beast of death, and he couldn't cough up any helpful information. Despite the setback, I joined with the crew and the islanders to find and defeat Celeste. The mists parted, and the island returned to its former state. Its residents began to pass into the great beyond, disappearing into light. Before long, everyone I'd known had been lifted into the bright sky, leaving behind only their memories. I closed my eyes and waited for my final moments. But no matter how long I waited, I never began to fade. Left behind, yet again. I stared out at the village, devoid of residents. I was alone, but I could accept that. At any rate, the nameless ghost was no more, because a strange man gave me an oddly familiar name. So long as I had that name, and my memories with the crew, I could wait decades, maybe even centuries, for my sister to return. I think the captain, however, couldn't bear leaving me to such a hollow fate, and invited me to the crew. But how could I leave the island? I knew that my little sister would come back to me. Even though we were no more than graves and warm thoughts, this is where her family was laid to rest. If she came back and no one was waiting, wouldn't she be sad? That's why I knew I had to stay. But the captain wouldn't hear of it. If I was worried about my sister, I should go look for her. It was a new chance. I had never been off my island. I had never even considered the option. But I knew I could. I just needed to find the courage. And that's how I set out on a journey with the crew. Somewhere, out there in that big blue sky, my sister is waiting for me. One day, I was out shopping in Seed Hollow Central Plaza when I saw a woman with kind eyes sitting on a bench. She was absorbed in her needlepoint. Your embroidery is beautiful.
Oh, aren't you a dear? Thank you.
Her smile was genuine and cozy, just like the blanket she was working on. She told me it was a present for her beloved. I've never seen anyone so outside before. She giggled. Really? I'm hoping some of this cheerful sunlight works its way into the fiber. Her name was Malfira, and she invited me to have a seat beside her. Admittedly, the weather was beautiful, the kind that made you appreciate being alive. Or, well, unalive. There was a long, thin trail of white dividing the sky, the aftermath of an unfortunate cloud that had been pierced by a wayfaring airship. How fragile those clouds. How fragile our journeys. I glanced back at Malfira, who looked to be making diligent progress. A familiar memory crept to mind, of a time when I begged my mother to sew new stuffed animals for me and my sister. The nostalgia was comfortable, welcomed even, but I was brought back to the present when I heard a troubled sigh from beside me. Is something wrong? Such a forlorn expression didn't match Malfira's cheerful disposition.
Oh, sorry to worry you. It's nothing I would bother a stranger over.
Malfira forced a grin and stretched the throw across her lap.
It's just, I had hoped to use warming thread on this little project.
What kind of thread? I didn't even know there were different types of thread. But according to Malfira, there was a type of insect native to Fondom whose silk was imbued with magic. Items made from this silk were said to retain a comfortable warmth all year round.
If only I could get to Fondom on my own. And then there's the matter of tracking the insect.
Her smile never quavered, but the way her eyebrows stitched together, ever so slightly, covertly signaled her true disappointment. I could do it for you! I know I look young, but I'm a veteran Skyfarer! I put my hands on my hips and puffed out my chest, a posture I hoped would inspire confidence.
Oh, that's sweet. But it was just a silly thought. My fault for having unrealistic expectations, really.
From her tone alone, I could tell the pose did not, in fact, inspire confidence. Later, after a quick discussion with the captain, we decided to head to Fondom anyway. I needed Malfira to finish her blanket. I just didn't understand why yet. Okay, let's do this. According to Sierra, the insect in question nests atop the local wildlife, but there's a rumor a vicious monster also makes its home here. Stay on your toes. Those look like fire spirits.
We better get them before they get us.
This'll teach ya.
It's so hot. I feel like my sweat is sweating. Why are we going through the trouble again?
Sorry. I just wanted to put a smile on Melfira's face. She looked so, I don't know, forlorn?
But it was your first time meeting her, wasn't it? Who's she to you?
I know it's a weird connection, but her name, it sounded like my sister's.
How's that?
Looks like someone wants to fight. Let's teach them not to butt in. More wyverns. Momo, you bring up the rear. Want a treat? All right, Nicola. I'll protect you from the mean monsters.
You don't scare me! No!
Good call. Gigi, Beppo! Down, boys! You can't play so close to the magma. What if you fall in?
Huh? What's that?
Vern! Look out! It's a monster in disguise! You must be that vicious monster we heard about. If you thought you could get a leg up on us, you have another thing coming. Now, get whipped! Nice! Another one of the bugs. Now we can find that bug in peace. Tell me, you learn your lesson? Is this what you were looking for? I proudly displayed the hard-won thread to a surprised and overjoyed Melfira.
My word, you really are a Skyfarer, aren't you?
She took the spool for a closer look.
Yes, this is the genuine article. I can't accept this for free. Let me see what money I have on me.
From her purse, she pulled a single, unfamiliar coin. I knew from its extravagant design that it wasn't in circulation anywhere near Seed Hollow, but it looked valuable all the same. I refused the gesture. Retrieving the thread was my decision. I wanted to see that blanket finished. A reward was never part of the equation. Malfira's grin bloomed into a full belly laugh. She told me I was a strange girl. Laughing with her, I replied that I had met stranger.
Good day.
We made another pit stop in Seed Hollow, which gave me the chance to check up on Malfira and her progress with the blanket. Lyria and Vern came with me, and their eyes lit up when they saw her intricate embroidery, just like mine did that first sunny day. Though I hadn't known Malfira for very long, I felt a kinship with her, and I liked to watch her determination evolve with each new stitch. But most of all, I liked that her kind smile, maternal and comforting, was always able to put me at ease. I'd never met anyone so genuine. In fact, nor had my pets.
Who's a spooky boy? Yes, you are.
Malfira playfully scratched behind Beppo's ears. The mood was light, so I decided to learn a little more about my friend. I noticed you're in the Central Plaza quite often.
More or less. I don't have much else to occupy my time. Not with that silly boy still playing in the sand.
Malfira's partner was a geologist on dispatch in Dali, an extended dispatch, it seemed. Dali was an island of deserts, with bitterly cold nights. To Malfira, a cozy blanket seemed the perfect way to combat the harsh environment.
Maybe it won't be necessary. He's coming back for a visit on the Airbus next month, and I'm about to burst with excitement.
Her joy should have been infectious. Try as I might to put on a brave face, my heart sank at her words. The Airbus from Dali? Of course. During the next month's visit, Malfira looked more downtrodden than I had ever seen. Vern expressed his distress before I could vocalize my own.
Holy spools, lady! You look like you've been up all night. You feeling okay?
Malfira meekly raised her head, barely affording him a grin.
My love, he didn't come back to me.
It took me a moment to find a response. I'm sure... I bet he'll find a way to return next month. She had already been waiting an eternity for him. What comfort were my words? And yet, she still found the strength to smile.
I hope so. I'm so tired of moping around like this. It's getting harder to stay positive, but I'll find a way, for his sake. That man. You know, he's so absent-minded, he probably mixed up the date on his ticket.
Malfira unrolled the blanket across her lap, checking the backing of her stitching.
I've poured a lot of love into this design. I hope he likes it.
As she vacillated from melancholy to forced cheer, and back again, I had to bite my lip for fear my thoughts would spill out. 1 month passed, and still no word from Alfira's beloved.
I'm sure he has his reasons.
Lyria tried to comfort the young seamstress, but Malfira's smile was noticeably dimmer than before.
Yes, you're right. He's not one to take risks or push himself too far. There's nothing to worry about, I'm sure.
Her words sounded strained, like she was trying to convince herself. I thought I knew what was happening, but I couldn't bring myself to acknowledge it. Not yet. We were all stuck in awkward silence, so I changed the subject.
How did you two meet?
It was in this very plaza. He was a bookworm, so he came here to do his reading. I was out catching some sun myself when he found the courage to sit next to me. I turned to greet him and he shoved a book on embroidery in my face. Not the greatest first impression, huh?
Energy returned to her movements. Color returned to her smile.
So what did you do?
You're going to laugh. I told him I already owned the book. His face turned pale as a ghost, but it was cute, seeing him all vulnerable. So I asked his name, and the rest is history.
She shut her eyes, savoring the nostalgia. Then she sighed.
Guess I'll have to go to Dolly and drag him home myself, won't I?
No, not that. I couldn't let her go to Dolly alone. After witnessing her optimism return, I couldn't let her learn the truth. No, you should stay here. We'll go for you. Dolly can be a dangerous place, and I'm sure your partner wouldn't want anything to happen to you. I hoped that logic would be enough.
Dolly? Dangerous? But so many people live there. But if a skyfaring crew is offering their services, who am I to deny professionals?
Vern scrunched his face in confusion.
Lots of people? What are you talking about? Dolly's basically a giant sand...
A quick nudge was enough to interrupt Vern. I hoped Malfira had missed the majority of his comment. You can trust us. We handle this kind of assignment all the time. We'll be back before you know it.
Okay, let's do it.
My air of confidence, false though it was, seemed to bring her welcome relief.
Could you take the blanket with you? I wanted to give it to him myself, but I know he's probably already spent weeks freezing at night, and it won't do me any good here.
She pushed a soft bundle into my hands. It was warm to the touch, thanks to the silk from Fondom, but it was also warm to the soul, thanks to the love and care that Malfira put into every stitch. Of course, it would be my pleasure. Okay, let's do this. According to Malfira's map, the excavation was near the central ruins.
You sure you want to trust that dusty old thing?
Point taken. But we can at least get a sense for the lay of the land. Now let's go. This place is crawling with monsters. Stay on your toes, everyone.
This'll teach ya.
We'll handle them.
Gravity well! Clean this place up so we can start our search! Yeah, tough luck! No! They're good!
You're mine!
luck.
Do these guys get paid to fight us or what?
I'm starting to get restless. Come on, let's hurry. This place feels right somehow.
I think I saw someone over there. Let's go. Where'd that dude from before go?
I think I know.
No, it can't be.
I'm afraid so. He's no longer with us, but we've at least found his resting place. That's some comfort.
What? No, that's impossible.
We all stood before a grave, created 15 years ago in the wake of a terrible calamity. Carved on the back were the names of the deceased. And there, in the middle of them all, was the name of Malfira's beloved. I wrapped the blanket around the stone, tying it securely so the harsh desert environs wouldn't steal it, like it stole the lives of these scholars. Maybe it would at least keep their memory warm. Malfira put her heart and soul into this blanket. Take care of it, okay?
Hello.
When I returned to Seed Hollow, Malfira's voice was shaky.
Is he okay?
I couldn't face her as I struggled out a response. He's fine. He said the survey was taking longer than expected, that it's going to be a while before he can join you.
Oh, thank goodness. I was starting to fear the worst.
She was relieved. I was crushed. But how could I bring myself to tell her the truth? He said thanks for the blanket, that he'll never feel cold again.
Of course he won't. We made sure of that by retrieving the silk from Fondom.
Malfira's joy was contagious, but I still had to force myself to smile. I'm not sure if my act was convincing, but I knew, more than anything, that I didn't want to show her how sad I truly was. When her own grin softened, I knew my ruse had failed. If anything, my glaring lies had only cast a light on the truth she'd buried deep in her mind.
Oh, I can't thank you enough for delivering the blanket. I knew I couldn't rest until it was safely in his arms.
It clicked. Malfira knew what she was. She knew what I was. Hearing the sorrow evaporate entirely from her voice confirmed it. But now nothing bound her to the world, and she began to fade, like mist in the morning light. I watched, tears in my eyes, as the contours of her form blurred into abstraction.
Somewhere deep down, I knew I had died. It was the day he left for Dolly. I'm not sure what happened, but I just had to wait for him, hoping he would come sit next to me one more time. I've held on to that hope for what seems like an eternity.
Malfira, I'm sorry. I feel like I lied to you.
Oh, hush now. I bent the truth too, didn't I? I was glad for your company. Happy to have someone to chat with.
Malfira brought her hands to her chest and looked up to the infinite blue stretching above us.
Do you think he liked the blanket? Do you think he's warm now?
He was overjoyed. You found the best thread, stitched away in the sun, and poured your love into it. How could he not be? She smiled her last to me, more genuine and placid than ever before. Before we went to Dolly, I wanted to confirm my suspicions about Malfira. I checked with an airship engineer about Airbuses to the desert.
Dolly? No liner's been out that way for about 15 years now, on account of what happened and all.
He explained that the last ship to Dolly was filled with scholars and their families, leaving on a journey from which they'd never return. But 15 years. She'd been waiting 15 years to deliver her gift. I knew her isolation. I wouldn't let her wait any longer. Before I was ready to part ways with Malfira for good, I decided I needed to build a new grave for her and her beloved in Dolly. I realized that she had been right. With both sand and chill nipping at your skin, the desert nights really were cold and unfriendly. Wrapping the blanket around the new gravestone, I looked up at the full moon and saw 2 shooting stars falling through the night sky like tears down a cheek. And I knew, despite the chill, this was the perfect resting place. I turned to my pets. It's okay now. They'll never be apart again.
Well then, so long.
Welcome. Tempering your weapons? Imbuing your weapons with power, huh? That went well. Take care.
Hello. Good day. Which will it be? Will you take this one? Here are the details. Best of luck. Yeah. Hello. Here are the details. We're counting on you. Ready for action! Rain of arrows! Make I stand on the front line! Ready! I'm here for you! It's working! You got it! Gotta keep it! Heads up, guys! Keep your eyes on them! Nice up! Not quite. Heads up! Hey, that really worked! It's working! It's working! It's over already? Good! You're on roll! Let's see. Great! Over here! What you hiding? Between the eyes! We did it!
ain't got nothing on you.